Each of us has at least once seen what Stonehenge looks like, but do you know how and for what purposes this legendary building appeared? How did ancient people manage to build this structure without the use of modern technology? We will tell you about one of the most famous structures and its mysteries in this video. Stonehenge is one of the most mysterious and amazing structures on Earth. It is an ancient megalithic structure consisting of huge stone blocks that were placed in a certain order. Stonehenge is located in the county of Wiltshire, in southern England, and is one of the most famous historical sites in the UK. The name Stonehenge means dancing stones in Celtic. It remains a mystery as to who exactly built such a grandiose structure. Back in the 17th century, people thought that Stonehenge could only be built by cyclopes or giants. Even earlier was believed that this construction, the work of the devil. Then, the sorcerer Merlin, who lived during the reign of King Arthur and with the help of magic moved the monoliths from Ireland to the Valley of Salisbury. Whoever the mysterious builders were, they were endowed with great knowledge of astronomy, geometry, and geology. Also, over the years Stonehenge has been used as a venue for various events including religious ceremonies, concerts, and festivals. Some people even claim that you can hear strange sounds or feel mystical energy at the Stonehenge site. In addition to mysticism and alien intervention, there is another interesting theory. On one forum around 2010, there was a discussion that the ancient origin of Stonehenge is a myth, and it was actually built in 1954. The claim was supported by these photos. The photographs clearly show the process of creating Stonehenge from scratch. A flat spot that was poured with concrete. Cranes put stones there. Here is even shown that inside one stone can be seen a concrete rod. But the thing is that this is not building from scratch, it is the restoration of the object. And they use modern technologies for this, of course. The first restoration work on Stonehenge was in 1901. They just lifted a fallen monolith. In 1920 something else was changed and rearranged. And in 1954 they made a reconstruction. They put the stones in a new way, concreted, perhaps even moved something to another place. Users of the forum simply took photos from the site of historic England, where everything is described in detail, that the restoration is done, that casts are taken from the stones and so on. So double check the information you read on the internet, and some stones, if not all, are just a moulage of what they looked like before restoration. Dr. Christopher Chippendale, chief scientist at the Museum of Archaeology, holds nothing back and says that almost all of the stones have been moved and reinforced. It makes no sense to assume that Stonehenge was only erected in the last century. Another piece of evidence for this is Atlas van Loon. It was written in 1668, and it's a guide to Britain. It has Stonehenge in it, but it used to look very different from what it does now. The study of Stonehenge continues to this day. Every year historians and archaeologists conduct new studies to unlock the secrets of this mysterious structure. Now we will deal with the versions known at the moment. Recently, scientists have found out that Stonehenge could function as a solar calendar. This principle is similar to the solar calendar of the ancient Egyptians. Each of the stones of this sarsen circle represented one month. The sarsens are the very boulders that make up Stonehenge. This solar calendar was used to track the sunset on the winter solstice. Thus, those who lived near Stonehenge, Wiltshire, England, could keep track of the days and months of the year. This calendar system became clear thanks to a discovery made in 2020. Consider the structure of Stonehenge. 30 sarsens form the outer circle of Stonehenge, with a horseshoe-shaped inner ring inside. The forestation stones were ranged in a rectangular formation outside the circle, while the others inside the circle were ranged in 5 trilithons, figures in which the 2 upright stones have a horizontal lintel on top. 30. 5 and 4 are interesting numbers in the context of this calendar system. The 30 stacks around the main ring can represent the days of the month. Multiply this by 12 and you get 360. Add 5 more of the central trilithons and we get 365. To bring the calendar in line with the solar year, we need to add an extra leap day every 4 years. Scientists believe that ancient people used these forestation stones to keep track of this point. Each year, they connected the summer and winter solstice with the same pair of stones. One of the major mysteries of Stonehenge is how it was possible to transport the huge stone blocks to the site. Some blocks weighing over 50 tons were transported over 200 kilometers. Although there are several theories about how this was done, it is still unclear how ancient people were able to lift and move such huge stone blocks without the use of machinery. In recent years, with the help of new technology and research methods, it has been possible to obtain new data about the origin and use of Stonehenge. For example, research has shown that some of the stone blocks were quarried 25 kilometers from Stonehenge and that the site was built in several stages. First, a circular fence was built that stretched more than 100 meters in diameter and enclosed 56 pits. The Aubrey holes. There are high depressions adjacent to the ditch of the fence, while there are also low depressions outside. According to some theories, they were part of a common cemetery. Later in the second phase, a horseshoe of sarsen triltons was added. In the third phase, a ceremonial avenue almost 3 kilometers long was built. It may be a trace of the movement of bluestones from the Aubrey holes to the double arc in which these bluestones were stacked. The builders left no written record of how they managed to drag these heavy stones to the site and set them perfectly vertical. But some researchers say that builders' methods had more to do with woodworking than masonry. They made the mortise hole and protruding spikes because they wanted to join these stones together, and they used tongue and groove joints to do so. Wooden posts were placed in the back of the finished pits, which were used to support the braces. The stone was then moved into position and lifted to the top using ropes. To secure the stone, the pit was filled with crushed stone. This unique monument was built in the pre-industrial era with tools made of stones and bones. Back then, even the wheel hadn't been invented yet. If you want to get an idea of the real size of these stones, there is an open gallery for visitors on the museum grounds. There you can look at a replica of one of the stones. It is a freestanding stand of one of the trilithons located in the inner horseshoe of the monument. There are also 5 Neolithic houses recreated at Stonehenge, based on actual archaeological evidence at houses found in the area. Each of them has walls made of pegs and a chalk floor. Some of them even had furniture. Research has shown that people lived in these houses for 50 to 100 years around 4500 BC. This is when the construction of Stonehenge began. Now Stonehenge attracts over 1 million visitors a year. When it first opened to the public, it was not only possible to walk among the stones, but even climb on them. Until the late 19th century, visitors were constantly chipping off chunks of stone to take home as souvenirs. They also carved their initials into the stones. They even dug fire pits in the circle itself, not realizing that this could seriously undermine the stability of the entire monument. Over time, the restrictions became more and more, and in 1997 the monument was finally fenced off due to serious erosion of the stones, and now it can only be viewed from afar. However, for a fee, those wishing to visit the stone circle can do so, but only after hours. During the time that Stonehenge was built, generations of people went through major changes from the Stone Age to the early Bronze Age. They no longer lived static, isolated lives. They began to travel, trade, and communicate much more than their ancestors, even internationally. That's how word of Stonehenge may have spread. Since then, it has become of such intense interest to everyone. Despite all the new discoveries by scientists, people continue to look for clues to the secrets of Stonehenge in mysticism and conspiracy theories. I would like to believe that there is at least something in the world to which the higher powers would shift their hand, but it is unlikely that this is the case. What other interesting facts about Stonehenge would you add to this video? Write in the comments, and there are many other interesting videos on our channel. Subscribe